Welcome back to Old Coin Adventures. What if a 5-cent coin sitting inside an old collection wasn't as ordinary as it looked? This is the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. And before you put one back into your coin jar, there's something you should know. Some coins become interesting because of their age. Others become interesting because of their condition. But the coins collectors really stop for are the ones with something unusual hiding in the details. And that's exactly what we're looking for today. We're going to examine this 1964 nickel from the date, to the mint mark, to the reverse, and especially the areas most likely to reveal something unusual. We'll also look at what can make one example more desirable than another, what a genuine mint error could mean for its value, what collectors actually look for, where you could sell a valuable example, and, most importantly, what confirmed auction records can tell us about its real market value. So if you have a 1964 Jefferson Nickel, go find it. Because before this video is over, you may look at that little 5-cent coin very differently. The story of this nickel begins at a time when American coinage was changing rapidly. And that's what makes the 1964 Jefferson Nickel worth a closer look. At first, it appears to be exactly what you'd expect from a Jefferson nickel. You have Thomas Jefferson on the front. You have the date. And you have the D mint mark, identifying the Denver Mint. Nothing unusual yet. But coin collecting isn't really about the first thing you see. It's about the details hiding underneath the obvious. And that's where you need to slow down. Take your coin under a bright light. Don't rush. Start with the date. Look closely at every number. Then move to the D mint mark. Check its shape, position, and surrounding area. After that, turn the coin over. This is where the examination becomes much more interesting. Look directly at Monticello. Study the building. Study the lettering. And then look at the steps. Don't just glance at them. Count them. Look at their sharpness. Look at the surrounding surface. And compare what you're seeing with another normal Jefferson nickel. Why? Because a genuine mint-made characteristic should have a logical explanation. A scratch created after the coin left the mint doesn't have the same significance as a feature created during the striking process. A hit from another coin doesn't automatically make a valuable error. And a strange-looking surface doesn't automatically mean rarity. This is one of the biggest lessons in coin collecting. Something unusual doesn't always mean something valuable. The real question is whether the unusual feature is genuine, identifiable, and connected to the minting process. That's why collectors compare coins. They don't simply look at one coin and make a decision. They compare the date, the mint mark, the lettering, the design details, the edge, the weight, and the overall condition. Now take a look at the condition of your 1964 nickel. Has it been heavily circulated? Are there scratches across Jefferson's portrait? Are the highest points worn down? Does Monticello still have strong detail? Are the surfaces original? These details matter, because two coins with exactly the same date can have completely different collector appeal. One may have spent decades in circulation. Another may have been protected almost immediately after leaving the mint. And when a coin survives with unusually strong details and clean original surfaces, collectors can pay much closer attention. But there's something else you should never do. Don't clean the coin. Don't polish it. Don't scrub it. And don't use chemicals to make it look brighter. An old coin isn't supposed to look like it just came out of a jewelry store. Original surfaces can be important. Cleaning can leave scratches and unnatural surfaces that permanently affect collector appeal. So if your 1964 nickel looks interesting, leave it alone. Handle it by the edges. Use good lighting. Take clear photographs. And document anything unusual you find. Because the next step is where things become even more interesting. We're going to look at the clues that can help separate an ordinary 1964 nickel from an example that may deserve professional attention. And we're also going to talk about the biggest question every collector eventually asks. How much could a coin like this actually be worth? Now we come to the part that really matters. Value. When people hear the words rare coin, the first thing they usually want to know is, how much is it worth? But with a 1964 Jefferson Nickel, There isn't one magic number. The value depends on exactly what you're holding. A normal circulated example is one thing. A high-grade example is another. And a genuine mint error can be a completely different story. That's why you should never look at one enormous price online and assume your coin is worth the same amount. An online listing is only an asking price. It doesn't prove that someone actually paid that amount. Collectors pay much more attention to documented sales, especially auction records. If you want to understand what your coin might realistically bring, look for confirmed sales of coins that actually match yours. The same date, the same mint mark, the same variety or error, and a similar condition. That comparison gives you a much better idea of the real market. Now let's go back to the coin itself. If you believe you've discovered something unusual, photograph both sides. Then photograph the edge. Then take a close-up of the exact area that looks different. And if possible, weigh the coin with an accurate digital scale. Weight by itself doesn't prove anything. But when weight, appearance, and design characteristics all point towards something unusual, the coin becomes much more interesting. This is also the moment when professional authentication can become important. Because there is a huge difference between a coin that looks strange and a coin that has been identified as a genuine mint error. If your coin appears significant, consider showing it to a reputable numismatist or professional grading service. And if it turns out to be a legitimate collectible error or an exceptionally high-grade example, that documentation can become very important when you eventually sell it. So where can you sell a valuable 1964D Jefferson Nickel? You have several options. A reputable local coin dealer can be a good starting point. Coin shows can also be useful because you can speak with multiple dealers and collectors in one place. For a professionally authenticated and genuinely rare coin, established numismatic auction companies are another possibility. But don't rush into a sale. If someone immediately tells you that your coin is worthless, get another opinion. And if someone immediately tells you it's worth thousands, get another opinion there too. The goal isn't to hear the highest number. The goal is to find out what the coin actually is. That's the difference between guessing and collecting. So let's go through the checklist one final time. Find the 1964D Jefferson Nickel. Check the date. Check the D mint mark. Study Jefferson's portrait. Turn the coin over. Examine Monticello. Look carefully at the steps. Inspect the lettering. Check the rim. Check the edge. Look for unusual characteristics. And never clean the coin. If something looks genuinely different, photograph it. Compare it with a normal example. Then get professional advice before making a decision. Because the most exciting coin discoveries don't always begin with a spectacular-looking coin. Sometimes they begin with something much simpler. A 5-cent piece, sitting quietly inside an old collection, waiting for someone to notice one tiny detail. And that's why you should never judge a coin only by its face value. 5 cents may be printed on the coin, but its collector value can depend on the story hidden inside its details. So the next time you find a 1964D Jefferson Nickel, don't spend it automatically. Turn it over. Look closer. And ask yourself one question. What am I missing? Because that question is where the real adventure begins. This is Old Coin Adventures. And if you enjoy finding the details most people overlook, make sure you stay with us for the next coin.